Okay, woodworkers, it's been about an hour, so this is in there. Um, so I need to flatten this thing down. I need to clear it off. There's a couple ways I could do this. I could run a hand plane across this, which is okay. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of passes to get this thickness down to the same level of this. So hand plane would be an option. It's a lot of work, more than I probably need to or want to spend with this. There are other ways I could probably drag this across, even a table saw, if I were to clean up this outside edge here to make sure that this bottom edge is on the same plane. Set the blade up so it cuts very close to this surface of the tabletop, and then run it vertically over the table saw blade. That just concerns me, because any amount of movement here, one way or the other, is going to tip this into the blade, and I could not afford for that to happen with the veneered top. And there's probably a small safety concern about this as well. So, not a great option. What I am going to do is I'm going to use a router jig that I made. I didn't develop this. I saw somebody in Fine Woodworking magazine a million years ago had something similar to this, but basically just created a flat surface here. You could use plywood, but I coated it with a sheet of plexiglass just to keep it kind of slick for dragging over the surface of boards. Then I have a straight bit in here that's aligned very close to the plane of this plexiglass. It's just a hair recessed. I don't want it to cut right on. I know I'm going to be doing a little bit of sanding over the whole thing to get it dialed in. But that's the idea here. The reason that I have this curved area is if I had left this a straight line, then that really limits my travel as being laterally each step, whereas this one I can kind of pivot, and if I'm doing curved areas, maybe this is the tool that I used to trim down the thickness of these outside edges. I can get in here and kind of work to that convex, I guess that would be a concave curve. So anyway, that's the setup with this. When using this, I'm actually going to flip this around. When using this, I'm going to keep this hand flat, and that'll alleviate any temptation for this thing to tip. It doesn't typically want to go on its own, but if I don't have a hand here to kind of plant this, I think that it could get a little squirrely. So anyway, so I'll turn it on, drop this thing down, and then just be able to kind of walk this through the cut. You see that you can see what I'm doing, and you can. Great. All right, here we go. Hopefully that demo made the argument for why hand planing of this would not be a lot of fun. Alright, so there's just a small elevation here. You can kind of hear this thing picking up, but for the most part that's pretty great. And the little damage I was talking about on this outside edge, we trimmed that off with clearing off the thickness. The only thing now I need to do is clean up this outside edge. Couple options there again. I could set this into a vise on my bench. I could drag a hand plane across this. That would be one way. What I think I'm going to do, now that this is pretty much in line with the tabletop surface, I'm just going to do a router. flush cutting bit, so the bearing on the bottom, and I'll be able to come in and clean this stuff up. Probably do myself a little favor and take this to the bandsaw just to clean up most of the material. And so when I do bring that router into it, it just a tiny amount of material I'm going to remove. But that's it, and I think it's going to look pretty sharp. The good news about this is if I don't like the look of this, then I could always just start over with the process using our template, cutting out the lace wood and then going in with something else, but I think I like the lace wood. So, alright, that's it. I'm going to take it to the bandsaw router, and then I'm done with this, doing some sanding and finishing.